Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the channel. It is early here at my house. I just got up. I just read everything that I could on Nio ET7. I watched some of their live stuff. I didn't watch all of it. There were a few things that I wanted to see about their new battery, and I'm really surprised. I mean, I'm actually kind of stunned by what I saw there. I get a lot of leaks from people. I get a lot of communications from people, especially like friends of friends that I know they're in China, or people who claim to be in the know. A lot of times those leaks turn out to be kind of unreliable. Like I got burned on one a few weeks ago. I made a video that I took down because the information I got was already like a year old, and I could have easily verified that by just looking it up on the internet. But anyway, that was sloppy research on my part. So I didn't do a video on some of the things that I thought were coming out on Nio ET7 because I didn't think the intelligence was very good. And what I'm talking about is Nio's 150 kilowatt battery. Now, Nio already introduced a 100 kilowatt battery earlier in November. That's exciting by itself, a little increase in range, but there really wasn't that much different with that battery with batteries they had produced in the past in terms of its technology. Nio's 150 kilowatt hour solid state battery is a whole different ballgame, and it could say a lot about some other companies that are involved in solid state technologies, and I'm talking about Toyota and QuantumScape. And I think that this spells real danger for QuantumScape. Now, in this video about my first impressions of Nio, I'm really going to skip over a lot about what was said about the ET7. Yeah, it's a beautiful car, but almost everything about that leaked out ahead of time, other than some of the technological details. It looks very beautiful. I like the giant roof on there. I like the fact that it has like a lower drag coefficient. It's going to be a more efficient vehicle. I like the fact that you can put different sizes of batteries in there, and it's built on an entirely new architecture. I think it's very, very interesting. Some of the other features that I think are interesting in the ET7 is they get the free lifetime warranty, lifetime power swap benefits, free home power connectivity, and all of that service is really, really good. That's one of the things where Nio seems to be really kicking the tail off of Tesla, which is customer service. It is priced quite a bit higher than a Model 3. It's not a Model 3 competitor. It's twice as expensive, almost twice as expensive as a Model 3. But I think in terms of fit and finish, which is something that Tesla vehicles get criticized for, I think it's going to be far superior. While that actually remains to be seen, whether or not it's going to be superior, I think that's the goal, is to have a more German-like produced automobile where panels fit together, where things don't fall off, where screens don't die within a year, that sort of thing. Which these are all complaints that have come across with Tesla. The other complaint that comes across with Tesla, especially in China, is a lack of customer service. And that's an issue here too. Granted, Tesla users in the United States are basically used as beta testers for products. And I think most people who own a Tesla, most early adopters of any Tesla model, know that that's the case. And they accept that that is the case to some degree. When you're going out as an established automobile producer into other countries, they don't necessarily have that same sort of understanding or that same sort of buy-in with company culture. And I think that's finally starting to really backfire on Tesla as they expand into other markets and their service isn't in place. Nio is really making an effort to become the premier place to go if you want to be treated really, really well as a customer. And I don't see anything wrong with that. And that is something that I have certainly underestimated in the past when it comes to other stocks. And I think I may have seriously underestimated that with Nio in this case. But back to the solid state battery here. Like I said, they introduced a 100 kilowatt battery back in November. It wasn't a ton different in technology from their earlier batteries. This one is completely different. This new 150 kilowatt hour battery, I think it's pretty crucial to note that this is a solid state battery that increases energy density of the battery by about 50%, meaning it's not going to be any larger than their 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. Energy density is increased to about 360 watt hours per kilogram. If you did not think that internal combustion engines were dead before, this should absolutely convince you that internal combustion engines are dead. There's no going back from this point at 360 watt hours per kilogram. This is a solid-state battery that incorporates an in-situ solidification hybrid electrolyte. It's got an inorganic pre-lithium silicon carbon composite anode and a nickel ultra-rich cathode with nano coating, which crucially doesn't appear to have any cobalt in it, which should lower the cost of manufacturing. And you should be able to charge this 150 kilowatt battery somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, should get you between 70 and 80% of the charge that you need to drive around. This really means the death of the internal combustion engine in so many ways. If you're willing to wait 10-15 minutes in line to fuel up at a Costco, I'm sure you'll wait 10 or 15 minutes in line to, or 10 or 15 minutes to, to fuel your car at a supercharger station. I'm sure you will be able to charge at home for most of that charge anyway at a cheaper price than a supercharger station. But if you do have to go to a supercharger station, then it's going to be pretty cheap. I'm really looking forward to the day when Nio begins to sell their cars in the United States. I don't think that day is that far away. And, this battery is not like QuantumScape's battery, where QuantumScape is saying it's going to be, used by 2024, scaled production by 2028. No, man, this battery is going to increase the range of the Nio ET7 to over 1,000 kilometers, which is just over 600 miles. And this battery is expected to be put into cars by Q4 of 2022. This isn't just amazing in terms of price parity with an internal combustion engine. This isn't amazing in terms of, it isn't just amazing like that, man. It's absolutely astounding what has been announced here. Now, normally my videos are a little bit no hype. I have to admit that I'm a little bit more excited, maybe more excited than I should be. And I'm probably going to make a follow-up video on some of the rest of the stuff that was exposed in Nio Day. I'll probably rewatch the live stream if I can, and I'll try and glean some more insights out of that. And I want to talk to a few people that I know that watched it too. There were some pretty exciting announcements about autonomous driving. Now, autonomous driving is something that I'm a little bit less excited about than most Tesla and Nio investors are, just because I see it maybe being a little bit further away than certain people do. At least the ability to commercialize that in a way that where the company really sees those sort of software margins with that. One thing, like I talked about earlier, where Nio's investment in this solid state battery technology could really negatively affect QuantumScape, the opposite's going to happen with NVidia. So Nio's really basing their self-driving technology on NVIDIA's self-driving architecture, and so is XPeng. So I'm thinking NVIDIA is probably going to see a bump up from this. They're probably going to see increased purchases from folks that are interested in self-driving cars, and I'm thinking they're going to see it from more than these two auto companies as well. I think a lot of other people are going to fall in line, and NVIDIA is going to be something that you want to look at, and they're going to be positively affected by this. Now, I don't know. I'm still not convinced 100% that LiDAR is going to be superior to what Tesla is doing right now. But I do know that Tesla is doing some testing with LiDAR as well, so I don't know how that's going to work out. I guess next we should talk about Battery Swap Station 2.0. This was pretty exciting news too, and I've made the point a couple of times that I don't think that battery swap is a permanent part of their strategy, at least not as big a part as a strategy as other people on YouTube do. This actually still confirms that, and they've made this process a lot more efficient in a couple of ways. They went from having 5 batteries in the station now to 13 batteries in the station, which more than doubles that capacity, of course. They've reduced the footprint of that station. It now takes up about 3 parking spaces. The modular design of these things makes them very scalable, meaning that you can drop in a new station at a location that's particularly busy. If you have the room to do it in just a couple of days. A lot of times it takes longer for the power company to hook up that power station. The Battery Swap Station 2.0 should be able to do about 312 swaps per day, and Nio EVs are going to be able to automatically park in the station, and there's no longer a need for an attendant. All great news and all impressive technologies, but in a lot of ways, this confirms my suspicion that this is not as big a part as future plans for Nio as people think, especially as technology is improving with batteries. The 150 kilowatt hour battery is going to reduce the need for swap stations, which is actually good for battery swapping. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but they've more than doubled the capacity for these battery swap stations. and now they've more than doubled the range of some of these vehicles that they've produced. If you look at the early versions of the ES8 that had an effective range of about 188 miles, now they're going to have an effective range of about 500 miles. So you've really reduced the reliance on these battery swap stations. And as infrastructure improves in China or becomes just more suited for EVs, and we start seeing charging stations being installed in every apartment building in new construction, the need for this expensive network is going to decline over time to where it becomes a smaller and smaller portion of their overall financial strategy. I still think that is the thing, that it is a bridging method to get through this next couple of years until the infrastructure for the country is in place to support mostly people charging at home because it's cheaper for the consumer. Anyway, folks, those are just my first impressions of what's going on with Nio Day here. There's a lot more information to digest. I'll probably do a second follow-up video on this. Anyway, folks, I got some work to do out in my yard. Thank you very much, and you can tell me how wrong you think I am in the comments below. Bye.